The WNBA, scary, stupid, only in Babylon, the Great America. Again, the title is The WNBA, scary, stupid, only in Babylon, the Great America. All right, so that's what the title of this show is, and we're gonna go right into this subject with the latest, another major controversy here in Babylon the Great America, which is prophesied in the Bible. That is Babylon the Great simply because of its confused state. These people now in 2026, supposedly the smartest era known to man, they pull down their pants or look at or pull up their shirt. People don't even know what gender they are. You have some called non-binary, or there's over 100 genders. Transgenderism and etc. So what this show is going to go into through the spirit of Yahweh by Shem Yashai, this is just another proof that America, Babylon the Great, America is Babylon because of its confusion and its ideologies. All right. And the WNBA is just furthering that point to the whole world, which the whole world already knows. At this point in 2026, this America, Babylon, is a laughingstock to the world, man. And this WNBA controversy is the latest thing, because you have someone Ennis Freedom, right? We're gonna go into Ennis Freedom and Royce Wright, former NBA players of the NBA, right? Have just applied for the draft, or just joined the draft for the 2027 draft. All right, to be drafted into the WNBA league, the women's league, because of the WNBA is not making it clear where they stand, or not. They can't define a woman. So because of that, you have Ennis Freedom and Royce Wright has just applied or joined the draft for 2027. So it's just blown over, become a big controversy, and it's a laughing stock to America and their way. We're going to go into word Babylon and proving why, this place is totally confused, and it is Babylon the Great because of this point. So without further ado, and what I want to do, let's do the intro first. So I'll say, Kal Halal, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahushai Bahashim, Rachwa Kodesh. Thawada Yahweh for giving us Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles of GMS who have the 100% spirit of Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai in them. Double honors to the CT bishops, all right, elders of GMS, Arabic Akim. And greetings and salutations to the Akim in this country and all over the world, prophesying in the true name of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, which is none other than the power of the nation of Israel, which consists of you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, and anybody who are descendants from those people on their father's side. Shalom to those who are scattered abroad. I'm Ya'ikwab, all right, Lord willing, serving the King of the universe, all right, King Yahweh Shai, from the power of Yahweh, all right. And may the Lord be with this video, the Holy Spirit, the Kodash Rakah. I'm speaking in the Holy Tongue, or the Kodash Rakah. Well, that's the Holy Spirit, and Lalashwa Kodash is the Holy Tongue, right? So anyway, what I want to do, I got a few videos lined up. Mostly this is going to be videos that I got lined up, fair use, that I got lined up to share, what's been going on lately this past week. Today's August 17, 2026, and it's kind of broke news last week. So I'm finally able to do a show on it today, the word of the Lord. And like I said, we're going to go through a few videos to get you caught up what's going into, and look at some few talking points. And then we're going to go into the word folly, right? I'm about to get that real quick. The precept for that in Ecclesiastes 10:6, and then we're going to finish off in Isaiah the 13th chapter, because ultimately this is what this is going to just boil down to, that you're just showing the whole world your wickedness and who you are, and at the end of the day there's a repercussion for your stupidity, man, and that's just basically being blown to smithereens and basically feeling the Lord's wrath by nuclear fire, which is prophesied in the scriptures in Isaiah 13th chapter. All right, this is what the repercussions of your ideology, man, which is really sodomy. All right, same as Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay, like it says in Peter's. But first, let me get and I got something to read you too on stupid society. Why that's scarier than evil? Because remember, I call this title of the video "Scary Stupid." Okay, we're gonna see why being so stupid is the worst kind of evil. All right, let me read this first before we go to these videos. Right, this is Ecclesiastes, right, 10:6. Let me get it. All right, this is This is Ecclesiastes, all right, chapter 10, verse 6. It says, I'm going to start from 5. It says, there is an evil which I have seen under the sun, as an error which proceedeth from the ruler. And this is out of King Solomon, all right? King Solomon, the king of Israel, right? When King Solomon was ruling under the power and order of the Most High, the Lord, Yahweh, that was the only time Israel had perfect peace, right? Solomon actually means peace. Okay. So there, and on a deeper level, that was our Lord, right? Yahweh Shai. All right. Yahweh Shai, who you ignorantly call Jesus Christ, was King Solomon reincarnated, right? So anyway, King Solomon, that was the wisest man known in ever world existence, next to Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai is number one. But anyway, Yahweh Shai is King Solomon reincarnated. So this is his word. So it says, there is an evil which I've seen under the sun, right? And evil, what means what? Eve is the prefix to Eve is a time period, right? Eve, like New Year's Eve, the eve of the day, evening, right? Or Christmas Eve, right? And then you got ill, the suffix ill. So ill means basically malice, bad, or ill will, right? Bad. You put those two syllables together, or prefix and a suffix, evil, it means bad times, right? And you can't deny that we are in bad times right now, currently in 2026, and been in bad times, especially for our people, the nation of Israel. You so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, we have none but bad times here, since going back to the transatlantic slave trade. All right, we already know through slavery, through the Edomites. Anyway, there is an evil which I have seen under the sun, as an error which proceedeth from the ruler. That's right. The rulers are who? The Job 90:24, right? The earth is given into the hand of the wicked, right? Who are the wicked? Well, the ones who have total dominance and control over the whole planet Earth, right? That would be none other than the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, the elite banking families. Okay, Fakinati, Zionists, Big Brother, whatever you want to call them, shadow government, right? They rule through their shadow government or their esoteric societies, Skull and Bones, Trilateral Commission, etc. Right? The point is that these Edomites, they're the one that control them. It's not Raheem and the Boogie Down Bronx that owns the Trilateral Commission or a bunch of so-called minorities, because they call minorities, there's more colored people with melanin on the earth than these people in the nation of Edom. Okay, there's a lot of stats that prove that the nation of Edom, you so-called white people, anybody who descends from those people on their father's side, because you could have someone melanin but be the seed of an Edomite, right? You are what your father is. Got to put that out there. So really, first and foremost, you can be the power that Edom has, starting with the Rockefellers and Rothschilds, has never been. It's unprecedented, man. It has never been seen before on the whole earth, right? So you put those pieces together, because that's what it means to be a believer of the Most High. You got to be a spiritual detective. Job 90:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, is none other than the international bankers, all right? The elite banking families, the Council of the 13, okay? And they're the ones that create all this evil on the earth, okay? It says, there's an evil which I've seen under the sun as an error which proceedeth from the ruler, right? And basically, if you're in evil times, it's really become because of your ruler, right? When you have a household, you could bring this understanding to a household because you have rulers in a household. Who's the leader of the house? Is the father. Basically, the definition of family means servants of a household, right? Starting with the wife, she's the number one servant and your second estate to the family under the father, the man, the husband, and then you have your kids, your children, your shield, right? That's what they're supposed to be, a guardian and a shield onto you when you get older. But the point is, it's like forgot my point, but that I'm sorry, man. I'm going. Anyway, Job 90. I'm sorry. I gotta remember my points. You know what I mean? Getting excited here, but let me just read that again. There's an evil which I've seen under the sun as an error which proceedeth from the ruler. I'm sorry. Yeah. So I was given in a household of a family, right? Starting with the man. The servants of the household would start with his wife and his children, right? If the kids are all messed up and they grow up like one's doing pornography and one's into prostitution, and another kid's selling drugs, then you got to look at the parents. You got to look at the leaders of the household, right? So you don't fall too far. The apple don't fall too far from the tree, as the saying goes. All right. So, and if you turn out to be level-headed and grow up to be, successful or have a level head or respectful person, is because of your parents, the leaders of your household, who raised you that way, right? So the same thing that that understanding applies to the leaders of the house of the world, right? The ones who control the world. Let me get the precept real quick. This is Proverbs, Salakia. Proverbs 29, right? 29. I'm trying to get it quick. I want to get to these videos because they're really good videos I got lined up. Boy, I don't know why. Salakia. Okay, right here. It's right here. Proverbs 29 and Proverbs 27. Salakia. I'm sorry, Proverbs 29 and 2, right? It reads, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. So that's a perfect precept for that, right? So again, it's self-explanatory, man. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, right? When you have people who are in authority or rulers that are ruling in righteousness, which it all boils down to the only righteous people who are right, which right is synonymous with truth, are the true people of the Most High power, the true people of God, right? And the Lord Yahweh Shai, our King, right? Meaning that what makes us so holy and righteous is through the laws, statutes, commandments that are right and correct, aligned with truth to the Most High, and that He gave to us. You see, this world is in total upside down, a Gombarzo world, like Apostle Ricard like to call it. It's totally backwards, right? Why? Because you got the wicked bearing rule. You got the evil bearing rule, right? The negative bearing rule, not the positive, all right? All right. So anyway, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, all right? So it's self-explanatory, but it says, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Okay, and that's self-explanatory. All right. And that's what you have here in this world, because people are mourning, people are protesting against their governments, people are complaining about their jobs, their whole lifestyle in general. People are just not happy, especially in America. You know what proves that? Antidepressant drugs. America makes up 25% of the world's population, which the world's population is approaching 9 billion, right? But they make up 5% of the world's population, America, right? But they take up I said that wrong. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. America takes up 5%, 5% of the world's population. All right. 5% out of 9 billion people, right? But only up to 25% or 30% of Americans are on antidepressant drugs. All right. So if that don't show you that these people are mourning or because they take antidepressants, right? I don't know what else shows you that. That's just one example. Okay. Plus, people are not working and in poverty. So let's hurry up real quick. Now let's go back to folly real quick, and then we're gonna get to these videos. Okay. So the spirit here, Lord willing. I didn't want to spend too long on this, but it's the Lord willing. This is Ecclesiastes 10:6 out of King Solomon's mouth, right? The wisest man known to man. So it says, folly set in great dignity. And we're going to look up that word folly because folly goes back to basically stupid. And being stupid is really wicked. And that's what the society is. And I got a little definition I'm going to go into. That's another nice little part of this lesson too. I typed in the reasons why stupid society is worse than evil. So that's a real good one. We're about to read that too. So folly set in great dignity, and the rich sit in a low place, right? Which are what? The nation of Israel, right? You got the most stupidest, the wickedest people in the world ruling, which are stupid to think they could box with the most, arms too short to box with the most high. That's a saying, right? They're a complete brain dead, beyond brain dead, and stupid to think that they can actually challenge the Most High and His people by against these prophecies that say that the Lord's going to come back, right? Declared by the prophets and by the Holy Spirit, and think they have a fighting chance to prolong their rulership. The scriptures say they have a line that they cannot pass their rulership. I'm not saying it right. You have a set time of your rulership, and it's about to end. All these prophecies prove so. You can look at some called Project Looking Glass. I did a video on that, proving that they have a supercomputer simulation, quantum computing, right? That after 2012, all the calculations, the probabilities pointed to a catastrophic event, and also, which is a comeback of the Lord, through nuclear missiles destruction. That's that catastrophic event, but also the holy chariots that are coming back. The Lord's going to come back in and totally destroy this place, Babylon the Great, by fire. Okay, so-called UFOs, you call them. And but then also the Project Looking Glass, it's points to a the whole world, like an ascension, if I'm saying it right, an ascension, meaning there's going to be an elevated awareness on the people on the earth, and they're going to basically that elevated awareness, the ascension is all the world's going to know the truth completely, because when you see the Lord come back, you're going to know, okay, yeah, these are the people of the Lord, and there is a God, there is a someone called the Lord, the Savior. These are His people, and you're going to know that this world wasn't created by the big man; it was created by the Lord, and there's no such thing as aliens. Okay, only aliens are really the foreigners, or the angels are going to come back, and us as well, the men of the Lord who have been born in this world. But this is not our first estate. We're really angelic powers, man. All right, reincarnated to bring you the word of the Lord. Right, and that's been none other, and by prophecy, that's been none other, starting with the prophets of have been shown to be proven by the great apostles of GMS, Great Millstone, and on down. Right? So again, it says, I have seen servants upon horses, and so that was the point. I'm sorry. Folly sit in great dignity, and the rich sit in a low place. So who sits in a low place? The late nation of Israel. Okay? So let's get into these videos. Damn, that was a long intro, huh? So let's get into these videos real quick. And so I got this right here, right? Let's read this real quick, but we're going to come back to this, right? So this is off of the folly set in great dignity. Let's read this, right? So I typed in reasons why a stupid society is the worst evil. It says, AI overview, it says, a collective lack of critical thinking or a stupid society is considered the ultimate societal evil because it is entirely immune to reason. Okay? It says highly infectious and acts as the primary enabler of a systematic destruction, right? And the WNBA is proving that through their belief, which aligns with America's ideology, which is basically witchcraft, man. Androgynous understanding, androgynous demon, the Baphomet. A lot of these, anyway, going on. Let's keep reading. So it says, while explicit, let's read that again. A collective lack of critical thinking or stupid society is considered the ultimate societal evil because it is entirely immune to reason, highly infectious, and acts as the primary enabler of systematic destruction. While explicit malice or evil can be identified, exposed, and fought, like, psychopath killer or, serial killer, it can be identified, and they even admit that they're evil and they're, they have no remorse for their actions, but they admit that they are evil. They're not right. Right. So while explicit malice or something that's wicked or evil can be identified, exposed, and fought, a society rooted in willful ignorance cannot be reasoned with because it lacks the capacity for objective self-reflection. This concept is heavily grounded in the Dietrich Bonhoeffer's theory of stupidity, right? Bonhoeffer's theory of stupidity, Sprouts Learning video. So this is a good video to look at. I actually saw this video here, a few years ago. Last year. It says why stupid people are a great threat to society. And, it's a good video. I actually did a topic on this. And that's something I always said. One of my phrases the Lord gave me, scary stupid, And that's what America is, man. And by this WNBA and transgender understanding, that thinking that transgenders are a woman and men are equal in ability, and that a transgender is a woman just by announcing so. Anyway, so again, it says a society rooted in willful ignorance cannot be reasoned with because it lacks the capacity of objective self-reflection. And that's exactly what the WNBA and America is, right? With this whole LGBT nonsense that's going on, which is laughable and overall wicked. And, they're teaching the kids putting in your legislation, protecting laws against these people, which is insanity. It's really insanity, man. It says this concept is heavily grounded in, I just read that. So we're going to come back to that, but this is a precept of folly set in great dignity. All right, so we got more on this, but let's get right to these videos, okay? I got them lined up here. All right, got a number of videos, so let's, what the first one I'm going to play. Now let's play End This Cancer right here. Let's get right into it.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it just by...
So this is fair use. Okay, fair use. This is used for educational purposes. Matter of fact, let me just pull that up real quick just to protect myself. Fair use. Let's pull up that law real quick. Fair use law. Fair use law image. Let me read it real quick. Okay, fair use. Where is it at? Okay, fair use, right? It says, in good faith, this work contains fair use of copyrighted and non-copyrighted images from the public domain and the web of non-commercial, non-profit educational purposes. This work is distributed free of charge. The author has neither monetized this work nor sought any profit from its destruction. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Right, as it reads, allowance is made for the fair use for purpose such as criticism, comment, and news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by the copyrighted statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips to balance in favor of fair use. So, Okay, so this is fair use. Just read the law. Now let's go right to these videos. All right, let's go.
After careful consideration and reviewing the current eligibility guidelines, I am officially declaring myself a WNBA prospect. If simply declaring who you are is all that's required, then I meet every single requirement necessary to compete in the WNBA. My team and I have carefully examined the WNBA's eligibility criteria and governing framework surrounding self-identification and inclusion. Based on the current guidelines, I can and am officially declaring my eligibility for the upcoming WNBA draft in May 2027. I am definitely not here to mock, make fun of, or disrespect any community or personal choices. I am simply asking that the current rules be applied equally to everyone. The rules that represent the very values many WNBA players and coaches have publicly advocated for. My team and I are prepared to ensure these guidelines are applied equally, consistently, and without exception. And I look forward to the WNBA honoring its stated principles. See you at training camp.
All right, so that's Enes Freedom, right? And Enes Freedom is kind of, known activist. He's from Turkey. He's kind of gets into certain controversial things, and you could look. I don't want to. There's so much stuff I want to cover in this video, but basically that's what he does, and so this is no different, where he's getting involved in in this understanding, this ideology that destroyed the minds of the people in America, man, Babylon the Great. And basically it's coming to a point where people now are fighting on higher levels against this, all right? Because protesting or doing this and all that is just not working. And remember, they're teaching kids this. They're putting it in the school system, they're indoctrinating the people, and people are proving that this world is just out of here and the Lord's going to come back. People actually, majority of Americans believe this, man. And mostly our people, you got Edomites that fight against this understanding, but mostly our people, man, as that proves that we're at, a low, bad state that fight for this understanding. All right. So that was Enes Kanster, who's known to that's why I think he changed his last name to Freedom, because again, he's like an activist, former NBA basketball player. Right. And you can look him up if you want, because I got a lot of things to cover. And, he's making a point, and basically he's forcing the hand of the WNBA. Making them look stupid, that like they are, which is wicked, because the WNBA does not want to define a woman, right? You had people within the WNBA organization saying that women players, right, biologically women players, are saying that transgenders are women. They could come play with us. A lot of women in the WNBA biologically are lesbians as well. You see how some are really feminine, but some are a lot of them are bisexual, and a lot of them too are pure lesbians, man. Got that succubus demon on them, as we say. That's what a lesbian is. You have an incubus and a succubus. The incubus is what the woman has, basically that manly masculine spirit. That's a demon, and really overall, it's a psychological problem. All right. In the 1970s and 60s, they were funding. They cut their research for homosexuality research, but it wasn't always called homosexuality. It was called it was known as a mental disorder, and they had the research to prove it. Just like they constantly do research on cancer and stuff like that today, which is ongoing. They did the research to call it determinationism. And also characterizationism, meaning you will yourself, you determine yourself and will yourself, no different from what transgenders do, or lesbians or gays say that they are all of a sudden a woman, when they're a man, and the man also just saying he's a woman, or vice versa. All right, you have willed yourself to say that, or you change your character. That's what it was first known as, and you could look that up. So let's read some quick comments. It says, why did this take so long? It's genius. Yeah, because they're forcing it in WNBA's hand, and now they have to make a stand. They have to define what a woman is. Either way, they're going to lose, because now if you block them from coming in the NBA, this man, a biological man, then your whole argument crumbles, because you play yourself to be freedom and equality and non, all that stuff, and it's gonna crumble. Matter of fact, I'm getting excited, man. Let's get to these videos and some comments. You guys get it, gay, go slay queen, take down the walls. See you training at camp. See her training camp. She's so stunning and brave. Yeah, see, glass ceilings will be shattered by this courageous woman. Courageous and brave, such a brave woman. We need more like her. Finally, Caitlyn will have some legitimate competition. So yeah, so that's the comments there. Good comments. Let's go to the next video real quick. And again, you could, type this in yourself. These are the videos, right? New York Post. Let's go to oh yeah, and also Royce Wright bidded for the draft. We're gonna show that video too. But matter of fact, let me get Royce Wright here. Remember, fair use for use. This is at the Poor Man's Podcast. I'm not a fan of him. It's kind of a simp a little bit. But
let's just say the bedroom report this week.
Anyway, but we're going to play a little bit of this video and go right to Royce Wright point. Now let's play let me play this.
Anytime. I don't think it's a problem in the world.
This is a Poor Man's Podcast Reacts, all right? And again, this is fair use. So listen to this.
I would welcome a trans athlete on my team or against my team anytime. I don't think it's a problem in the world. It's just another way to kind of attack trans people.
Yep. Yeah, anyway, you heard it.
Okay, say LeBron James changed his gender. You know what I mean? Okay. Can he stay in the NBA, or because he's a woman, does he have to go to the WNBA where he will score 840 points a game? What does it actually mean to be equal? You know what I mean? Like, if women are actually equal to men, then there would be no WNBA, would there? You would just be good enough to play in the NBA with us. Or, here's another idea that's going to be very controversial. You could shut the fuck up.
After careful consideration,
Okay, so that was that. All right, let's fast forward to Royce Wright.
A second former NBA player plans to join the WNBA. Royce White, a first-round NBA draft pick in 2012, told me he will be declaring for the 2027 WNBA draft. The only thing that will stop him is if the WNBA makes a definitive statement that males can't play in the league. Bro, we live in an endless Boondocks episode, and I'm going to be honest here. I've always felt like the WNBA was more of a political push for, like, gender equality, goobity gop, instead of actual entertainment. I've always found it to be more about politics than entertainment, because every time I see them anywhere, I'm seeing more politics than I am basketball. The moment I seen that they were not willing to lower the rim to make the sport more entertaining because they wanted to prove a point about, like, gender equality nonsense was when I realized that the league is more about politics than it is entertainment, because if it was about entertainment, why wouldn't you lower the rim to make the league more entertaining?
That's true. You can't argue that. You know what I mean? But since, women, like the scriptures say, they don't got the wisdom and totally influential, influenced easily. They're influential beings, they're basically total rebellions, man. And the ultimate form of rebellion is basically rebelling against truth. And truth in its purest form is the Most High God through his son Yahweh Shai. All right? Which ultimate truth was given to the nation of Israel, that understanding. So they're the ultimate rebels, man. And that's really that to be an ultimate rebel is to have a feminist mindset, which is really the spirit of Satan. All right, the devil. Okay, so even the devil has a feminine mindset. Okay, but that's a valid point, man.
Right? This is getting out of pocket.
Oh, earlier this week I made the announcement. I'm transgender. I'm a woman. I identify as sometimes identifying as a woman for purposes of basketball, professional basketball. So I'll be declaring for the WNBA draft in 2027 as well. Well, I think I'd be unstoppable. But I'm a team first guy.
Right.
I'm a pass first kind of player. I do the little things. I led my team in all 5 major stat categories at Iowa State University. So I do a little bit of everything. I'll do whatever the coach needs me to do.
I'm not gonna lie. Back when, like, I was in my athletic prime, bro, I used to be able to dunk. I'd give it a swing. I don't know if people know this, but in 2026, they renegotiated the WNBA contracts, and they pretty much begged their way from the minimum in the WNBA from being $60,000 to $270,000 as the minimum payment. And I'm gonna be, I didn't think that it was possible because I'm a man, and that type of generosity would never be extended to men. Like, if the league wasn't making money, they would.
Salakia, I paused it by accident, so hopefully the sound is not lagged. You know, I hate when that happens, but I was trying to fast forward his point, so let's continue.
Put up a bucket.
All kidding aside, what is the reason for your decision to declare for the WNBA draft?
No, I think it's only fair. I think it's only fair. I see other great minds, other great athlete, political minds like Enes Kanter. Great minds think alike, and it's only fair that some of us get a shot to play in the Women's Association. I think I'd be a great fit. You know, I still have low mileage as a player, and I got the natural fair skin and the nice thick eyelashes and whatnot. I haven't broken out my wigs yet, but I'm looking into some good ones. I don't know much about the wigs, but I'm looking into some, and I just hope that the bangs on the wig don't get into my eyesight, so I can play like I need to play.
Ironically enough, this would probably actually make them sell more tickets. Like, I would.
All right, so that's let me see. I think he stops talking here.
Once they do that, the whole
we got more from him too anyway. So let's go. Let me see. I think he talks here. He's talking here.
I have great respect for the skill of women's basketball.
Right, and who are we to deny them the equality, the gender equality that they say that they want? This is
all right. We don't have to go watch because I got another video. He's talking, so we don't got to watch him anymore because he keeps interrupting. So, all right. So what's the next one I got? As you can see, a lot. This is a hot topic now. And it's embarrassing of Babylon, proving that America's Babylon. It's embarrassing. So let me play this real quick. Now, she got slack for saying that only women should play sports. This is Edom. Well, I can't say Edomite. She might be a Jake saying that only women should play women's sports. See what she says here.
Women's professional basketball, now a flashpoint in the culture wars after Indiana Fever guard Sophie Cunningham called limiting women's sports to biological females common sense.
When it comes just to protecting young girls in sport and women in sport, I feel very strongly about that.
This past Sunday in Chicago, demonstrators on both sides rallied outside the United Center. The WNBA Players Association did not mention Cunningham directly, but put out a statement denouncing hate, abuse, and demonization of the transgender community.
Yeah, so it always boils down to, when you say something against that, right, it's hate, right? And, of course, America and its laws, its penal code they're the professionals that hate. Okay, they're the professionals at inequality and not being fair, starting with our people. All right, how do we get here in this land? Right, through the transatlantic slave trade. Right, how do we still being hung? You had segregation laws. You had some called redlining, creating ghettos. You had so on and so forth. Man, the crack epidemic, which is a lot of information coming out that was all planned by the CIA and etc. to destroy our people, the Tuskegee Airmen. I could go on for days, right? Even to this day, black exploitation, where our people are always depicted as in movies and cinemas and TV shows as either drug dealers or prostitutes. The music industry, gangster rap and shit, and just the dumbest, lowest vibration music in the world. But then Edomites, they get higher vibration music and always play doctors and astute roles in movies and TV sitcoms, man. All right, while Jake just played the crackheads, okay, and they always get a typical shade, like an ugly Jake. That's another show I can do. Godfrey talked about that. He advertised. He tried to try out for a role, and he said he looked too good. He was like, "Yeah, I'm regular. I don't look that good." You know, so they purposely pick like ugly people, or for the most part, or people who fit a certain look that make it in Hollywood. You know, and if you really think about it critically, a lot of the comedians, you know, really not that good looking. You know, they only show one type of Jake, one kind of skin tone. You see it through your news anchors, all bald headed, no hair in their face. You know, not to say they're dead ugly, but they don't. Our people are way better looking than that, man. That what they show on TV, and that includes your celebrities and stars. All right, our people are as a speck of bird, man. We're different shades in brown, and we have many, you know, exotic looking people, and you know. But Esau put his best looking people on TV, right? And then that becomes stars. So, I think that was it for that. Right, so you could, you know, I'm just going through this real quickly. Let me see real quick.
And now, in an apparent effort to make a point, two former NBA players say they want to play for the WNBA. Inez Cantor Freedom announcing Monday he's officially signed the paperwork to declare for the draft.
Well, it's official.
I am definitely not here to mock, make fun of, or disrespect any community or personal choices. And I look forward to the WNBA honoring its stated principles. See you at training camp.
Royce White planning to join the WNBA draft as well.
I identify as sometimes identifying as a woman, and I don't want to be discriminated against. No, I want fair treatment. I mean, I'm 260 pounds, 265 pounds, 6'8".
We spoke with Jennifer Say, founder of XXXY Athletics, an apparel brand focused on protecting women's sports, about the issue.
They've been messing all sorts of things up, but now they're really in a tough spot because they have to decide what they're going to do about these two men who are declaring for the 2027 draft. I think it's hilarious. It lays bare the absurdity of this entire ideology.
WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert reportedly told teams a task.
Yeah, showing that's a good word, absurdity, right? Crazy. So let's look at another one. I got 2 more videos for you, or 3 more. Let's show this one real quick.
Sick of paying for hours you aren't even sure your team actually worked? See this little sticker tag from Connect Team? It's gonna save you tens of thousands.
Flarping.
Fair use. This is from Liberal Hive Mind. He does some good videos on basically political topics, and makes it brings out points how stupid politics are, and just goes into certain topics. So he's going to the WNBA. We'll play a little bit.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And here's the meme of the day, brought to you by Fivemind.com. Well, leftoids, this is exactly what you wanted. No, this is what you were asking for. So why are you running now? Oh my lord, it's just too funny, you know? It's like seeing a little soy boy pipsqueak acting all tough, LARPing as a communist revolutionary. Oh, I'm gonna bash the fast right out of ya. And then, well, the melee starts. What do you think that little soy boy is doing? He's running home to mama. Well, it's not just true on a physical.
All right, we're gonna fast forward. Right, they show the WNBA players standing for women's rights. They showed, and we showed that clip already. Now let's see. Let's show some highlights from this thing right here. Right.
Legitimately transitioning, as if that really makes a frickin' difference. You mean like this French female basketball player? That's Julie Titart from France, who's 6'3" with a very strong frame and averaging, apparently, from what I was able to gather online, 20 rebounds per game and over 20 points a game. Probably going easy in a professional French women's league. It makes no frickin' difference. The entire concept is stupid and absurd. And yes, this is what you guys were asking for. Don't run away now. I mean, I thought this was an existential problem. Ooh, matrans genocide, matrans rights. Yeah, now you realize the whole thing's fucking performative. More about being a whiny cry bully, garnering attention as some sort of a civil rights icon and leader. Oh boy, do women love a good social issue to virtue signal on. And of course, in a very egalitarian society as we live in, true civil rights activism isn't necessary, and so you gotta make it up. You gotta play pretend. The absolute absurdity of woke clown world. And that's probably one of the more important concepts here, because if you listen to the woke crowd defending what's going on in the WNBA, they of course aren't exactly sticking within the context of the argument. No, they're making these broad, more emotional appeals.
One last thing tonight. The entire world of women's sports is facing the debate within its own leagues of who should get to play and who should not. And a voice that often shouts loudly in that debate is a right-leaning outlet owned by Fox News called Outkick Sports. And today its founder took to a new stunt, one that really makes no sense if Outkick is really concerned about caring about women in women's sports. So Clay Travis, he's the man behind Outkick. He announced today he's offering $10 million to the winner of a game of basketball between a high school boys team of his choosing and the WNBA defending champions, the Las Vegas Aces. I thought to myself, why? But obviously the answer is because he thinks it is so impossible for any group of women, let alone the best in the game, that they could ever beat younger and more inexperienced boys.
That's exactly what it is. All right. Now we're looking at a Dunner-Kruger effect demon here. Someone who's completely, I mean, you can see in her eyes, a total demon, you know, or just not right in her mind. All right. She thinks she's a man. Obviously a lesbian, you know, wearing manly apparel. And you got men who want to look like this too. Okay? That's why you shouldn't, you know, shave your beard to your skin like that. Okay. So, yeah. So, you know, this is the mindset of Babylon. All right. We're at this place now. This is why the Lord's going to totally, one reason why the Lord's going to totally destroy this place, America, man.
It's a thinly veiled sexist joke, revealing the actual truth of how he and his organization feel about women's sports. It's not about caring about them. They think women's sports are a joke.
What is your interest? To ridicule is your interest? To simply create a spectacle here? That's how you know it's disingenuous and wrong and these are just bad people, except no. That's how you know what you're fighting for is frickin' stupid. It's wrong. In fact, you could even argue it's malicious. And you know what? Bad ideas, malicious ideas, ideas that will get people hurt, ideas that will disenfranchise women from their own spaces and their own sports. Those are ideas that should be ridiculed. Ridicule, in some sense, is actually a very powerful and important tool. And I'm sick of pretending it's not. I'm sick.
Let's fast forward. Let's fast forward here. There's the Ball family, the Ball brothers. They got their 2 cents.
NBA players and discuss things relating to the sport. Well, they were discussing this whole gender nonsense, and look at this.
And I mean this as respectfully as possible. But 9th grade Lonzo Ball in the WNBA is going crazy. All right? Because look, in 9th grade, I'm over 6 feet, and I'm dunking. Like, I'm coming through the... Like, no girl in the WNBA is doing that. I'm going back door, throw it up. Like, I'm looking like Jordan up there. So I'm going to just say, and I mean this so respectfully.
So great senior.
Middle school down, I give it to the WNBA.
I'm going to go probably 8th grade. Because look, bro, I have real experience doing this because I played, my sisters went to University of Missouri and I was still a young dude. And they had me playing like on the scout team. And they had a few WNBA players on the team like Sophie Cunningham and a couple others. And I think I was like in the 7th or 8th grade going dumb. I'm talking about so I have real life experience. Like it's just fair. It's just a difference, man. And I wish this would stop being a conversation because it should be common sense, but like it's just not. But I appreciate, you know, common sense. I feel like sometimes that's lost a little bit.
Yeah, it seems like we're not the only ones that are tired of this woke insanity. These wokies have clearly lost them.
Yeah, man. So that was another video. I got like 2 more real quick. I just want to fly through these. It's already a long video. Let's play this one real quick.
I'm going to transform my voice.
Players have officially declared for the 2027 WNBA draft, with one claiming he identifies as a transgender woman. Royce White and Enes Kanter Freedom announced his own WNBA draft plans in a video posted to X, saying he's not here to mock anyone, but wants eligibility rules applied equally. White, who is running the Republican primary for the U.S. Senate out of Minnesota, said he'd only reconsider if the WNBA issues a definitive statement on the issue. He also suggested he would pursue legal action if he goes undrafted and is not signed to a team. The debate is large and was sparked by Sophie Cunningham for comments she made earlier this year about transgender athletes. She said biological men should not be allowed to compete against biological women in sports. The WNBA's collective bargaining agreement currently limits the league to women, and no trans or male players has played in it as of yet. Now, joining us to talk about this, sports journalist Sierra Nicole and Jim Hicks, along with attorney and former basketball player Audia Jones. So is this a mockery or not, Audia? What's going on here?
I mean, it's highlighting a bigger issue, and I think the bigger issue is emotional-wise, people get very upset. It's a very hot topic issue. I don't believe people are focusing on whether transgender is right or wrong. They are saying in sports and competition, there needs to be competition and there needs to be fairness. Allowing men to play with physiological women, it's unfair competition. That's like saying, hey, we want to watch a fight with a heavyweight boxer and a lightweight boxer. The competition just isn't fair. And as a former Division I athlete, there were plenty of times we scrimmaged men that couldn't make our Division I men's team, and they still beat us. And we were Division I women's players. So it just physiologically, it is not fair.
Here's an effect that turns a simple vocal into something that pops. All right, have you ever tried to?
And that is not competition.
All right, Jim, your thoughts about it?
Man, this is really a messy topic, but at the same time, Enes Kanter Freedom, you gotta realize he's no stranger to controversy. As you know, when the Turkey with the political instance with that, ran against Nike and declared them to be basically hypocritical for having the quote-unquote slave shops overseas over in China. And basically what they're doing is they're trying to make the WNBA make a choice and change their policies, which left a door open for this to happen. The WNBA, when they worded it in Article 3 and Section 1 of their CBA, the collective bargaining agreement, it basically says that you must be a woman to play in the WNBA. But it does not go to define which we shouldn't have to be there right now, but it does not go to define what is a woman now. And that's where we are, and they're just basically making a mockery of it in a sense, but in seriousness, because Royce White is actually, as you mentioned a while ago, he's running for Senate in Minnesota for the second time. He's in the primary just the other day. So this thing is for him, it helps him in the polls. It helps his visibility in the political ranks. Remember the Yankees drafted this guy and he didn't want to fly on the plane?
Yeah.
He played about 3 games. That's Royce White. So that's pretty much in a nutshell my stance on it.
All right, Sierra, your thoughts. And is the public getting the message where there is a debate going on and they're seeing what these players, former NBA players, the message they're trying to send?
Well, I think that a lot of people think that they're already saying that, yes, you know, if you identify as a woman, you can come and play in the WNBA. And I think think that people think that that decision has already been made. And so you're right, they're exposing a loophole, they're exposing what, like you said, they're making them choose, and I think they got to choose. They have to say something, and they obviously have to stance with majority of the women, or otherwise, you know, by the end of this in 5 years, there's going to be a league full of women, a league full of whoever who wants to identify as, you know, I mean, it's for real. If it's like if a dog come in here and say, well, I'm a woman, they gonna let the dog play? I'm just saying. So they have to, you know, be specific when it comes to what a woman is now.
And will this force their hand, audience?
Yeah, and I was going to speak on it as from a legal standpoint. So as an attorney that represents people from the plaintiff side, I have sued a significant amount of employers for discrimination. And so with the segments that were written in the potential policy, it's a very slippery slope. So you have individuals or men who are self-identifying as women. Well, do they have a certain time span to self-identify as women? It's very open. And so if they turn down certain men that identify as women for a day or two, and then they don't turn down others, well, that is discrimination on its face when we talk about the policy, and they really are ripe for a lawsuit if that does happen.
And Jim, do you see? Go ahead.
Well, the WNBA is meeting this week. They sent a memo out this past Friday, right, and to all of the owners, and to prepare for this topic, because they're actually behind the 8 ball. And collective, see, the WNBA can't make a decision on this without the players' union. That's part of the CBA, the collective bargaining agreement. They can't do it without the other. Now, I mean, legally, and you probably definitely know that. So that's where they are right now. I mean, this thing right here, these guys are planning. Enes Kanter Freedom has already filed the paperwork for the WNBA draft in 2027. And who understand? From what I understand, in the NBA ranks, he played 11 years in the NBA. He was pretty straight. Most people know him. But there's gonna be some guys that's kind of how you doing ish. That's gonna hop on that side of the fence as well and hop up in there. And it's gonna be, you know, guys wearing Borettes and everything, and it's gonna, you know, they do their thing, wearing flip flops and everything. You know?
Sierra, you ready for all that?
Do they even have to? I mean, he look as straight as, you know, they come. So he no gimmicks, you know. And so if I can come in here and say I'm a woman, like I said, anybody can come in here and say it, then they gonna have to crack the whip.
They gotta change the policy.
But does this look bad for the WNBA to walk into, you know, the arena and be exposed like this?
I mean, I think absolutely. I mean, I think we already have an NBA. We have the National Basketball Association, that's for men, and we have the WNBA, that's for women. And the reason the two are separate, again, fairness and competition is what most people come to see when they come to see a sporting event. They don't come to see someone get slaughtered. And I believe that's what will happen if you have physiological men playing with physiological women.
Well, part two is they don't have to draft them. So that's the second leg of this now. Now, would an owner go and break the line if they just collectively just collaborate or conspire to say, you know what, please don't none of y'all draft one of these guys? Because then guess what? We know, as I mentioned a while ago, there are some guys out there that are like Dwight Howard. He's out the NBA. What if he wanted to play in the WNBA? And we know how, you know.
But honestly speaking, for some people that want to win at all costs, you never know. They might draft him. They might draft him.
Well, does the NBA have a specific detail of what a male is? Does the NBA have a specific detail of what a male is? You know, like.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, so that was good. I mean, you already know. He meant if you already know about Dwight Howard, he a little right in the fence anyway. He got caught on what his wife exposed him messing with a transgender. You know, he a little goofy and weird anyway. You know, he a little Skittles package, as I say. All right, so that was that. I got one more, and we're gonna go to scriptures. I got one more video of Royce Wright. This is a good video here. I didn't look at the whole. I looked at a few minutes, like minute or two. We're gonna look at this one real fast.
It's like a power wash for your teeth.
Fucking stupid commercials, man. Yeah, I looked at 2 minutes of this. So
I don't want to specify you have to tell me how you like to be.
Fair use, fair use. I read that earlier, and this is the last video, and we're gonna go to scriptures.
identified in terms of your pronouns. Royce is on Instagram, highway_30. Royce was an NBA player and is now interested in joining the WNBA. How shall I address you?
Well, I'm sometimes identifying as a black trans lesbian. You can call me Roysha. That's my new name. You've dead named me, but it's okay. We go way back, Dr. Drew. So the people who I know have a good relationship with, I give them some grace on my new name. And my pronouns are
Roysha.
Yeah. No, my pronouns are pay me.
Okay. Okay. And I'm wondering, I saw one of the, I guess it was Sophie Cunningham's coach, was talking about how kindness was going to prevail in the WNBA. She, of course, told everyone to F off when she finished her comments, but okay. I'm wondering if you were being received kindly by the WNBA hierarchy.
Well, not so far. I mean, they've almost completely denied my trans existence, and I think that's tantamount to genocide. It's hateful, it's harmful to my fellow trans, BIPOC trans, trans-adjacent activists, and everybody else up and down the line who have put in so much time, effort, and sacrifice to uplift and make safe trans people. So the WNBA is all but denied my existence. And again,
you see, they're trying to hold their laughter in, but.
And
That's
do you have a plan to address this
ridiculous
genocide?
means laughable, by the way.
Well, we plan on holding the WNBA to all of the values they say that they hold dear to their organization. Yeah, we plan on holding them to their word.
They put kindness above everything else. So they should treat you kindly.
Mostly their inclusivity. Their inclusivity is probably the big one. Right. Everybody needs to be included, and that would surely include me as well, right?
Of course. And others are following in your footsteps. I feel like you've empowered others to follow along. Are there others with whom you are getting together to sort of address this collectively?
I'm talking to a lot of people. There's been an outpour of support behind the scenes. Now, how people, support black trans lesbian publicly is still a work in progress. But there's a lot of support behind the scenes, and I just think we're going through a reality test right now. What is up? What is down? What is real? What is fake? Is this my hair? Is this my hair? I mean, I paid for it, but does that mean it's mine? And does it mean it's mine in a way that could be equated to growing it myself? And, there's a lot of ambiguity in life. And I think that ambiguity is the gateway to freedom and liberty. And that's why.
I think ambiguity means confusing or not clear. So, yeah, the NBA is just not being that clear. And that's a good point he brought up. Is this my hair now because I put on a wig, or is it, this is the point we are in society, man. And it's this is why this place is gonna be destroyed, man. Let's keep.
I'm gender ambiguous and gender fluid, and I think it's a good thing.
Roysha, I am delighted to hear that you're a freedom fighter. I think I fully support your efforts, your campaign. I feel like my reality is being tested as well. And there's something about you, Roysha, that I find interesting in still pictures. And you tell me if I'm being, if this is offensive or if this is supportive. And I'm just observing. You look very almost like a religious figure in your still pictures. Has anybody else said that? And I mean that only as just an observation and a compliment.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm certainly a Christian still. Yeah, I'm a pro-life Christian, black trans lesbian. Sometimes identifying as a black trans lesbian for basketball purposes, and it's a high compliment. Thank you. And you're a superstar. You're a household name. So I appreciate that from you, sir.
Well, Roysha, you've been intriguing to me from the beginning, and I really was delighted to hear that you were going to stop by and talk to me. I am interested in following this story and supporting it, and I do think that leaning in is a great strategy these days to try to find out where reality is and is not, and I think you're having an interesting impact. to see you playing in the WNBA would be a fascinating experiment. Do you worry, and this is not meant to be inflammatory to your efforts, but do you worry that you might hurt somebody out there on the floor?
Well, I mean, but again, it's back to the basic reality testing. As so far as I've come to learn, I'm new in the trans community, but so far as I've come to learn, sex does not proceed from biology, and genitalia does not determine gender. My trans affirming doctor has recently told me that I could think of my genitalia, that's how it was at birth, as about a little over 9 inches of clitoris. So we're in a whole new world, right? And I could hurt somebody, but you could argue that I'm helping evolve the game for the women and making them a little bit tougher, and maybe, and who could even argue, some things are about money in our society. Money is the organizing principle in our culture, right? If I play in the WNBA and other trans people, it's going to be more entertaining, more value. I mean, it's going to be a better commodity. We're going to have better ticket prices, more TV audience, bigger TV audiences, and ultimately women will get paid more. So I'm actually doing the gender pay gap in the WNBA a huge service. But we used to think there are some things that transcend money. Some things used to transcend money. I don't know if we have those barriers anymore in society.
For just $67, you can generate as many
in your gender identification as pay me. So, Roisha, I will thank you for visiting us and explaining your position, and I hope you'll stop back in again as this evolves and give us your thoughts.
Thank you.
Roisha. We'll see you soon. Again, the Instagram is at highway_30.
All right. Man, that was, man, the Most High, Yahweh Shemai Shai has a sense of humor too, man. This is the downfall of America, man, and the WNBA has proven that. It's proven that it's Babylon. Ambiguity, right? I believe that means not clear and confused. And so let's get into these definitions now. I can go into let's go to the scriptures real quick. So all the videos, these are videos I played, and you could take a look for yourself. I played a number of these videos you can see here. Right, and all you gotta do is pause it, take a look, and type it in. But there's plenty of content on this, and plenty of content on this, So so let's go real quick. Let's go to folly, sin, and great dignity real quick. We'll start from there. I'm just gonna try to go to this a little faster. It's been an hour, so we have folly, sin, and great dignity. Let's type that in real quick. I thought I had it up already, but it's cool. We could type it in again, folly. And we're going to go back to the definition or the AI explanation of what a stupid society is. But let's read the scripture again one more time to bring it in, right? So this is folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in the low place, right? There's an evil which I've seen under the sun, which we're in evil times, is proved that this is evil, bad times, as an error proceeds from the ruler. This is all being done by rulers at hand, which are the nation of Edom, the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, the elite banking families, right, who control, like was said by Meir El-Shambar, the forefather of the today's ruling class elite. He said, or the creator of the banking system, or the usury banking system. He said that give me control of a nation's laws. No, give me control of a nation's money. I care not who makes their laws. Because if you control the money, then you can basically bribe, you can buy anybody out. You can buy the lawmakers out. Okay? So it says folly setting. So they're the ones setting the rules because they bought out the people to make these rules, to legislate transgender laws and all 50 states, same-sex marriage and stuff, you know. It says folly set in great dignity, also giving puberty blockers to kids, changing children's sexes without your permission in schools, having transgenders dance in front of your children at school, taking them to a gay bar as a school trip, or seeing transgenders dance in your school and dance in your children's lap, putting your son into a dress and your daughter into a pants, okay, men's clothes. Anyway, folly sit in great dignity, and the rich sit in a low place. All right, the rich are the rich people, right? In spirit are the people of the Lord. You so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, right? We're in the bottom of society. First fired, last hired. We're now, you know, homosexuality has basically got the so-called black man's face on that, you know, and our people, the nation of Israel, you know, the forefront of the LGBT community. They couple that with the, you know, Black Lives Matter and all that stuff. It's all one thing, you know, and so, but we're low, you know, we're sitting low in the society. Starting with our mind, we don't got the Most High and the Lord. So it says folly saying great dignity. When you look up folly, right, it really goes back to, it doesn't mean silly and all that, but it doesn't really mean that. It really means wicked. Okay, so wickedness is set up in great dignity, right? Let's look up dignity real quick. Dignity is in the Hebrew, marawan. All right, dignity means high, height, above, high places. So the alphabet